the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been everything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality.
Hello, welcome to, what day is it? I almost lost track. Unbelievable. Wednesday edition of Voice of Ocala. I was off yesterday, threw me all off. Glad to have some time off yesterday. Caught up with a bunch of stuff, and now I'm ready to go back to work today. And by the way, nice job by the fellows filling in yesterday. Tom and JJ and Tom. What's the other Tom's name? Schmitz and Tom.
James.
Tom, is that his name? Last name?
Tom James.
James?
James.
James?
He's the guy with two first names.
Okay, Tom James. I've heard him before on the radio. I didn't know what his last name was.
Yeah.
So. And, of course, down goes Frazier. Sean, appreciate you guys filling in. You know, I was supposed to go to a funeral yesterday, and I was going to take an elderly friend of mine with me to drive down to the funeral of Al Newhart, the founder of USA Today. And my friend called me and said he just wasn't up to making the trip. So I thought about it and said, well, why am I going? I know when I get down there, it's like a class reunion after you've been gone for all these years. And you think, who am I going to know? Who will remember the things that we did 40-something years ago? Nobody. Other than paying my respects to Al Newhart, who's having like 5 funerals, one in South Dakota, one in Washington, or whatever. So the last minute I said, you know what? I'm going to pass on it. All due respects to Al Newhart, who died quite some time ago and did not go to the funeral. And I said, okay, now I have a day and I got to catch up. And I caught up. I did all kinds of things, including a little bit of afternoon napping, which is always great for about 30 minutes. Some reading. I even lost some of my books. I had to go back and find my copy of Jefferson. I've got 5 books I kept next to my chair, and I read parts of each one, about half of Jefferson. And I got to get back to reading, because you got to do reading in this. When you're doing a show, you have to read. And I read the internet, but never read books. So I caught up a little bit of that, got some things done there. And then guess what I did last night?
You watched the season finale of NCIS.
Played bridge with the girls.
How bad did they beat you?
Lost my man card again. Actually, my team came out pretty well.
Oh, okay.
But my wife's friend is in town, and from James from Tallahassee, and Sue Griner, and they like to play bridge. They play in the daytime, and they want to play again at night, and they can't get enforced. So I volunteered again to play bridge with the girls. So do I lose my man card there? All right?
No, not really.
Okay, all right. So anyway, that was how I spent most of my day yesterday. And I've caught up on some of my reading, and let me tell you something. You never thought you'd hear me say this, but there's a problem in Washington. Things are not going well for President Obama.
No.
And get this. I asked this question in all seriousness. Is what his administration accused of doing worse than what Richard Nixon did during Watergate? You got to think about it.
Do we have long enough for me to tell you?
Yeah, well, I don't want it. I want facts. I raised the question because I claim to be an independent. And that means I don't care which side of the party you're on, which party you're in. If you screw up something, you screwed up. And unless I'm proven otherwise, the facts speak right now that Obama's administration has screwed up. Not once, but twice, and maybe even 3 times. So if the Republicans needed a fresh jump start,
they got one.
They just got it.
Well, you asked the question, is it worse than what Richard Nixon did? Richard Nixon committed a felony. He lied to Congress. He lied under oath.
Right. But originally, it was a third-rate burglary.
Right, of course it was.
So that's the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about the third-rate burglary part of this at the Watergate. JJ, you know what the Watergate was?
Right. Yes.
It was a hotel.
Hotel.
Yeah, it's a hotel. These guys broke in. They were operatives. Look, let's face it. Every party.
They weren't operatives. They tried to act like
yeah,
they were.
Right. Well, I mean, every party's got guys that do stuff like
right.
that. The dirty tricks, folks. We know they all do it. They all do it. Both sides. Huh? And so, then, of course, Nixon lied and perjured himself, whatever. Now, we'll see how Obama handles this. I know that he's going to be real careful with it because you can already tell from the press conference. I watched Carney yesterday. I watched some part of that press conference, and you know they're going to have to be careful because it is an ongoing investigation. But the things that happen, inexcusable for what the IRS has done. In fact, the Republicans say they committed a crime in doing so. The Inspector General's report has ascribed the whole thing in the IRS a failure of management, flaws in the management system for the IRS. And the thing is, if you know the story, and I'm only reading surface accounts of it right now, it's going to continue to develop. When you're doing things like giving out nonprofit statuses to all the liberal organizations and not for the conservative, like the Tea Party, whatever, you got problems. You got problems. There better be a good reason for that. And worse than that is that the Attorney General apparently is going to talk about this, but they're spying on the media. They tapped into the phone records of the Associated Press.
For 2 months.
Now, that's unbelievable that someone could do that. And, first of all, and how do they think they could get away with that? So that's one. Now we have the issue of the Russian spy, who's the American. So they went 3 for 3. They really went 3 for 3.
Benghazi really.
Benghazi already. Benghazi's been a political football. Who knows how that will turn out? I think that's probably just a failure on the part of whoever there. But these are covert actions, JJ. There's a difference in negligent and covert actions. If you do have covert actions and things like that, that's a serious charge. And Obama's administration is scrambling right now because the heat's going to get turned up. And boy, don't you know the Republicans are just breathing, and they should, by the way. That's why we have a two-party system. Are just breathing fire about this.
I think when you when you start to get into all of this, you're going to find that Benghazi was not some oversight or something. There's more to Benghazi than you know. Then you got the IRS picking and choosing who they're going to allow to have nonprofits. And then the biggest one to me, and I know Americans died in Benghazi, and that's a huge tragedy, but to me, a violation of the Constitution is exactly what Eric Holder's Justice Department did when it tapped the phones of the press.
Correct.
And then Eric Holder said yesterday it was because we were worried about the leaks that were coming out, and so it was national security. However, when the leaks first come out, remember, the Obama administration said, don't worry, even though there's leaks, none of them are a threat to the security of this country.
Yeah,
and they said that originally, and now they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, they said, oh, whoa, it was a threat to national security. Well, when it first happened, you said it wasn't a threat. Now, all of a sudden, you got caught tapping AP phones, and now it's all of a sudden a threat. And here's the thing, buddy. You know you're in trouble when people who have backed you and stuck by you, Democratic congressmen and senators, are now saying, whoa, what are y'all doing up there? We're not a part of this, and are running from it as fast as they can run from it.
Yeah, so the difference is that, as I said, you got a covert action here, and as far as Benghazi goes, they're going to have to hang somebody, okay? And it's not going to be Hillary Clinton, who they like to besmirch because she's a possible candidate. But in my opinion, it now opens the door, and somebody's going to have to pay for this decision to tap phones and go into phone records, as they've done with the AP, and who knows else. And it is exactly a replay of Nixon in the 70s. It's the same thing about they are tapping phones, and you throw up the national security logo again. Say, oh well, it's national security. It wasn't national security.
No, Nixon wanted to get reelected,
of course. And so this is not even about reelection. This is what's so mystifying. We're not talking about getting reelected. The president, he can't be reelected. So I'm thinking either it's some kind of renegade outfit, somebody's being stupid, but there has to be somebody at the top making these decisions, and the culpability is what I'm interested in.
Eric Holder's the one that's going to lose his job.
Well,
he
probably, and he probably should. Okay, that's just the top of it. We'll continue to talk about that. The spy and who had all the cash, kind of turned one of the other spies, et cetera, et cetera. So coming up in the next hour, next segment, we're going to talk about did this guy find the secret recipe for Coke? He says he did, but I've heard that story before. And here's one for you. Would you like to have a portrait of a naked bee author. Remember who she was?
You mean Maud?
Yes.
The lady, JJ'll know her as one of the women from the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
I know which one, too.
Yeah, and by the way, somebody's willing to pay millions of dollars for it.
For a naked picture of her?
Picture of, of a naked bee author. Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
I'm so straight on that.
Titus Young is the one doing that, probably.
Yeah. And finally, wait till you hear what law enforcement is doing in other cities in Florida to raise millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. All that coming up to you next on Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
I used to be in the military, and I had a question about tasers because they weren't as available back then. I was wondering, are all the officers required to carry tasers?
Well, I'll tell you, our officers, they're not required to. They're required to carry two types of less than lethal force, and we give them an option of pepper spray, a baton, or a taser. The vast majority of the Ocala police officers carry them, and they work really well. A lot of times they just pull them out and put the laser on the guy or girl we're trying to arrest, and they usually give up, so we don't have to use them too much. I know the sheriff's also has them too.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
WOCA, News Talk 1370. Good talk, great conversation.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
This is Don with ABC Frederick's Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey, everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Frederick's Appliance does repairs, too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
We may not have the kind of winters they have up north, but Florida weather can be still pretty rough on your ride, and Ford Lincoln of Ocala wants to save you money and time during their Restore Your Ride service event. Right now, you can drive into Ford Lincoln of Ocala, receive a free brake inspection, and if it's determined you need brake work, you can receive up to a $50 rebate on any Motorcraft brake service when you use your Ford service credit card. And if it's tires you need, Ford Lincoln of Ocala's Completely Satisfied Service Center can hook you up with up to $120 in rebates on any of the top brands, backed by their low-price tire guarantee. So stop chasing all over town for this service and that service. Get it all done right, the right way, at the right place at Ford Lincoln of Ocala during their Restore Your Ride event. There's also great savings on Motorcraft batteries, wiper blades. You know, my dad used to say, don't wait till it's too late. Get it done now. Visit Ford Lincoln of Ocala's Completely Satisfied Service Center, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturdays till 5.
WWWCA, WWWWWCA.
Good talk, great conversation. WOCA, News Talk 1370.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA studios. This is a news break brought to you by Gateway Bank. Jamie Lee Teat was arrested by Ocala Police Detective Wayne Green and charged with 8 counts of criminal use of personal ID information and 7 counts of credit card fraud. She is suspected of using stolen credit card information to pay electric bills for people in her neighborhood. OPD Detective Green showed that nearly $6,000 in the names of 7 people were charged to OEU for utilities. The credit card slips are all in Teat's handwriting. This news break was brought to you by Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank. Join Buddy every Friday for Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank.
Welcome back to the program. I don't know about you guys. Have you run any yellow lights recently? Have you got to them and felt like maybe you were cutting it real close?
Every time I feel like I would rather go through it than slam on my brake.
Right. Sometimes you figure it's safer.
A yellow light doesn't mean caution, slow down. It means press the gas. It's about to turn red.
Well, let me just say, my friend, you better be a little more careful. Because here's what's happening.
Cameras.
Worse than that. Incredibly, this story came out of Tampa. I read it today. The whole red light camera thing is a for-profit business, you know.
Yes.
That's for profit, okay? Now, very quietly, Florida in many communities has allowed them to shorten the time of their yellow lights. All right? Think about it. Shorten the time. Channel 10 down in St. Pete, Tampa, discovered that the FDOT quietly changed the state's policy on intervals in 2011, reducing the minimum below federal recommendations. Now think about it. What does that mean? Now, yellow light times reduced to a mere fraction of a second, but a half-second reduction in the interval can double the number of violations. Double.
I mean, think about it.
Double.
Everybody's been used to driving. They see a yellow light, they can pretty much time it.
It's a timing. We've
been doing it for years.
Right. Well, apparently, guess how much money the red light cameras generated last year in revenue for
in
70
Florida?
Yeah, for 70 communities. Take a shot.
I don't even want to know.
$30 million.
What do you say, JJ?
I'm gonna say $25 million.
$100 million.
No
wow.
$100 million in revenue from 70 Florida communities, 52.5% going to the state. The rest divided by the cities, counties, and camera companies.
So the state made $52 million off of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've actually talked to the chief of police about this, and we'll do it again. Greg Graham, I think he said he's been known as one of the red light policemen. He supports that. And I get the idea. I think it's very dangerous to have people running lights. But to change the timing on a light and just coincidentally see that it nets you $100 million. Well, if they change it even another tenth of a second, they may get some more money.
And
they kill a few people, but you know what the heck?
Oh, you know that the accident rate's up too. That's gotta be
I haven't
true.
heard that, but you got to think it must be. That was staggering to me. I could not believe that.
And it's below the federal
minimum.
Okay.
So that's just a money decision, man. That's crazy.
Well, that's like we talked about yesterday. The National Transportation Safety Board is looking to make the blood alcohol level from 0.08 to 0.05.
Right.
Well, 0.05 is if you drink one beer every hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. If you're a 170-pound guy, so basically all that's doing
talk like you know about this.
Basically, all that's doing is now police will just have probable cause, pull you over. If you blow anything, you're drunk. Now it's going to be a money-making business.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a good thing on the surface because it sounds like it makes the streets safer. How much more money do you think they'll make on DUIs?
Oh, my God.
Killing.
I mean, yeah.
And do you know that you could get literally, if you take a double dose of NyQuil because you have a cold, for 2 hours after that double dose, you will register a 0.05?
Didn't know that.
So
I didn't know that.
So, buddy,
mouthwash.
Don't gargle with mouthwash too much.
No.
You can blow over a 0.05.
I'm pretty sure that people who get caught are not gargling, but that's another deal.
Well,
anyway, you get the drift. Now, the question has come up also on today's Ocala.com about who's paying for these traffic lights and these signals and whatever, all the traffic signals that are needed for additional cars. There's apparently some disagreement with the state and city of Ocala and what have you about who pays. City officials are saying, according to Ocala, I can say it's not a major problem because large businesses that draw hundreds of visitors a day make up much of the new commercial development. It's clear those businesses are responsible for paying the traffic signals. However, when you put those signals up and you pay for them, you have to decide who gets what, and it's very hard to assess the cost of these expensive new traffic signals. And I'm assuming that means with red light cameras. I don't know. And so how does that work out? So who's paying for those? And then by the same token, it seems to me they should take some of this money you're getting out of these red light cameras and put them in this and pay for these things. How's that for a plan? Take the money you're getting for the red light camera violations, make the state pay a part, make the city and the county pay a part, and use that to construct new traffic lights. That's what they ought to do, in my opinion. All right, Tom, you grew up in around South Georgia and North Florida, and you know that everybody has a story about Coca-Cola. Everybody has a
Everybody's
story.
found the recipe. It was in my it was in my grandmother's attic. I opened a Foot Locker and it was in there. Everybody's they found the secret recipe.
And everybody's got a story to tell about how they could have made a fortune. Right?
Right.
That they say, well, I had a chance to buy, my grandmother had a chance to buy Coca-Cola stock for a quarter.
Oh, yeah,
everybody's got those, right?
I got a very good friend of mine that he always starts his, boy, my family at one time could have been rich. My granddad had a chance to go in with Dr. Long and that Crawford Long, who is the pharmacist that they say was part of Coca-Cola. And he could have went in with Dr. Long and he'd have made millions.
Right. And, JJ, you probably haven't heard that story as much because you didn't grow up around this part of the country. But that's the tale. That's always a mother's tale about, wife's tale about, this or that. Well, some guy says he has found it. So he found it in an attic someplace and has all the details and apparently is going to auction it off.
Yeah.
The secret recipe for Coca-Cola. How tough can it be? Okay? It's a little bit of corn syrup and a little color and a little caramel. And back in the day, there was cocaine in it, supposedly. How tough could it be to make that? But nonetheless, this guy says he's got a secret recipe for Coca-Cola. How many times have we heard that story? Unbelievable.
Here's a story that's going to get me in trouble. Chris Spears, my girlfriend went to Chris Spears today.
Yeah, Chris Spears is doing all right by us these days,
And so I left in my girlfriend's car, her old car, and she got the new car. Well, I got both sets of house keys. She just
not good.
She just Facebooked me and said, "I got to come to the radio studio. I'm locked down the house."
Not a good thing. One of the things that happens all the time. I actually hate that. It's one of
I've been with you when you've been locked out.
Oh yeah, it can happen for sure. That's not a good thing to happen. So keys are one of those things that it's a guy thing. You just want your keys. When you want the keys, you want your keys, and you don't get them, you don't get them. So. Coming up at 4:30, we'll have the mayor on, and we'll ask him about some of these things regarding the traffic lights, et cetera, and find out what's going on in his world. And then at 5 o'clock today, 5:30, John Brantley will be on, the coach, and he's going to talk about, among other things, the fact that the Celtics are opening their season in Baltimore this year. How's that for a road game? Yes, Baltimore, Maryland. And meanwhile, other big news out there is that Brantley's got a defensive end, a freshman now. This guy must be like Herschel Walker was, one of those phenoms, who's already got his first scholarship offer from a D1 school, and not just any D1, but South Carolina. Steve Spurrier Jr. was in town.
Is he a freshman now?
Freshman now.
Next year, he'll
freshman
be
coming up as a freshman, is the way I understand it. He's a freshman. So,
so he's yet to play in high school.
That's he played the 8th grader.
Yeah.
But apparently this kid, the defensive end is Jordan Woods. He's 15 years old. And Spurrier saw him play in practice. He's 6'3", 245, 15 years old. Can you imagine that? Amazing. These athletes today, this is happening in every phase of life. I mean, you see these great kids on American Idol who are 15 and 16 who seem like professionals.
Yeah.
What is it about these kids? They're just like, I don't know, they're just so far ahead of the curve where everybody else was, where you were and where we were at 15. At 15, I'm still finding.
I was the most untalented 15-year-old you'll ever meet, buddy.
Well, I mean, I don't know about untalented, but I was
Definitely
certainly
not singing.
I was a little bit of a singer at 15,
you were.
but
At 15 years old?
you couldn't find your way out of a paper bag.
15 years old, I'd already had one varsity letter from football.
Sure,
pal.
right, yeah. Well, you probably weighed 300 at 15. So
No,
at
15, I was 201 pounds.
Well, that's pretty good.
I was 5'8", 201 pounds.
Kent Gwynn used to be 6'6" before he became mayor, and now he's down to 5'11". He's in the house. Let's take a break. Come back. Catch up with the mayor after this timeout of the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin for Renstar Medical Research. Every day we hear another story about innovation or about the cutting edge of technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. But did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that will impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people are right now. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend an opportunity to you to be a part of these. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's national magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
WOCA, Ocala.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Dr. Robert S. Brown, Jr. He's the chief of the Center for Liver Disease and Transplantation at New York Presbyterian Hospital. He's coming on to speak to us about the signs and symptoms of chronic hepatitis C.
Open for debate, where both sides of one issue will be debated.
And then Hank Whittier will be on the air bringing you veterans news, as he does each and every Thursday.
PGA professional and golf college owner James R. Beckett will be on the air on his show, Let's Talk Golf.
And then the guys from Climate Control Mechanical Services will be telling you what you can do to make sure this summer you are cool and your air is clean.
Dr. Jance Brau is a board-certified radiation oncologist and the medical director of the Florida Regional Cancer Centers. He's going to be on the air telling us about the cancer centers with their locations in Ocala and Beverly Hills.
All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
You know what a photobomb is, right? It's when you take a photo of someone and someone else suddenly thrusts themselves into the photo. It's supposed to be funny and ruin the picture, but sometimes it actually makes a better photo, a better end result. Well, that's what happened to me at Kenny's Place Nursery. Well, sort of. I was looking at some flowers when these caladiums caught my eye. It was like being photobombed by a plant. Well, it worked. The caladiums from Kenny's Place Nursery now sit beautifully in my garden with my floral plants. And if the wind is blowing just right, you might find yourself taking a photo of a rose and get photobombed by one of those caladiums. Kenny's Place has caladiums in a variety of colors, and the 1 gallon size is only $3.50. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Where in Florida? Mostly sunny today. The afternoon highs ranging from 80 on the coast to 87 inland. And tonight it'll be mainly clear and comfortable. Low 60 to 64. Partly sunny tomorrow. High 81 on the coast, 87 inland. For Friday, sunshine and some clouds. High 83 on the coast, 89 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
You're listening to WOCA, Ocala.
WOCA.
Hi, back to the program. The man in the suit is here. He was, however, caught with shorts only. I don't mean other shorts. Regular, I used to call them Bermuda shorts. I don't know what they call them anymore. Rare the fact that the MC called attention to it in front of a crowd of how many? 700-800 people, or how many of them are there?
3,000.
Yeah. There he is. Take a good look at Ken Gwynn. He's not in a suit today, and I saw him in a pair of jeans. So he's really come down off his high horse as a dresser. No, he's still the most stylish guy in Ocala. Good to have you back on the program, Kent.
Great to be here, buddy. Thanks. Yeah, no, I certainly wouldn't wear a suit to Symphony Under the Stars. That's
it wouldn't work, would it?
No, that wouldn't work. I mean, it's a pretty casual event, so we enjoyed that. It's great that FAFO does that on an annual basis.
Looked like his crowd was a little smaller. JJ and I were talking about it. I don't know because there was a conflict with the players or what was going on, but there was a nice crowd.
Yeah, it was a good crowd.
I like where they had the symphony orchestra, the way it was arranged, because you could right across the water there, and more backed up to the east side. And it seemed like it worked out nice. You get a little shade tree there, some of the big trees too. So
yeah, that was good. I just wish they'd have put a couple of more speakers a little closer to the crowd. That would have been a little bit easier to hear. But it was overall it was great. It was good. The food was good. The crowd was good, and orchestra did a great job.
You know what I want to ask you about? Because you and I had this conversation about how busy we get, and you, of course, are much busier than I am. These guys think I'm really busy. I'm nothing compared to you. And for instance, on Friday night, after the big Great Gatsby party, you came in afterwards. You were standing there, and I said, "You going to go to the movie?" You said, "No, I just got back out from the media night for the high schools."
Right.
Kevin Christian. I thought, "Oh my gosh, I totally spaced that. I was supposed to be at that event. Of course, I was at the Gatsby thing, but you were there. And then you came down to Marion, and I'm thinking, does this man ever stop?" And one of the local magazines voted you the busiest man in Ocala. But so I want to take you back to the time when you were just the councilman and you didn't have to do all the official things that you have to do right now. How much more time is devoted to ceremonial things? And what does your wife say to you when she says, "Oh, no, not again, another one"? Where do you finally draw the line?
Well, I mean, it's probably, I asked Mayor Ewers this when I ran for mayor. I said, how much more busier, I guess, do you think I'll be than I am now? And he said, know how much you put into being council member. He said, probably not that much. Well, it turned out that it is. Sometimes I need to learn how to say no, but I just feel I'm a public servant and I want to, help people. So I just, do it. But, sometimes, it is difficult to balance your day job and your other responsibilities with being the mayor. But the other night, Kevin had asked me to do the media day. That was from kindergarten all the way through high school. But he had asked me that 3 months ago, so I already had that in my calendar. But it's probably about twice as busy as it was when I was a council. But probably my wife. I mean, she just asked me when I leave the house. In the morning,
When will I see you again? 3 days?
No, she just said, "Are you going to be home tonight for dinner or not?" And like tonight, I said, "No, I'm not going to be. I've got a Children's Home Society board meeting I have to go to that's here in Ocala tonight. So I'll be at that at 4:30. So
all right,
it's
so
the day off.
So it's crazy, but I mean, I know that all mayors are busy, and I know you were busy as a councilman. But people think it's a full-time job. A lot of people think, "Oh, he's a full-time mayor." Just for the heck of it, why don't you talk about your day job? What do you do in the daytime? You never talk about that.
Well, for the past 31 years, I've been in the insurance and investment business, doing business and estate planning for individuals, business owners, things like that. helping people keep more of the money that they earn, and just deal with a variety of different issues from family succession with businesses to creating retirement plans for companies, for individuals, just a variety of different things in that regard as far as financial planning is concerned. So yeah, so I'm trying to balance all that stuff with the day job.
Well, you've been on the show pretty regular now since you've been mayor, and before that as council. I've never asked you that. I thought it was fair enough to at least ask you that question. What's the name of the company?
The Guardian, Gwynn Shields and Company.
Okay, so I should know that. All right, so in addition to that, you've got the Children's Home Society, Save the Marion Theater. I don't know what civic clubs you belong to, so you got a lot of things going on there. And it's I guess you got a good calendar keeper, so that's what makes it work.
Jackie McGinnis is my assistant at the city, and she keeps my calendar. She does a great job.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things we have to get done in the city of Ocala. Downtown still needs to be a spark lit on it. I know there are things that we're talking about. We see little sparks from time to time, but the cohesiveness has not been created. We all know about. I know you're not actively involved as you were in the council and getting involved in these things, but you still are Mr. Downtown as a mayor, and it's a very important part. And we all want to know what's happened naturally, and you do too, I'm sure, on the boutique or the hotel that McBride's and Peak have talked about doing, and now I think it's McBride. That's a key piece of our downtown real estate, which has to happen. We know the city is trying to develop, linear park, and there's some still discussion about whether this whole Symphony Hall is going to take place, take root out of Tuscaloosa. A lot of great things we've talked about over the last year and a half that, some have, only a few have come to fruition. It feels like the economy having turned a little bit, certainly not enough, but a little bit, that we now can maybe start thinking about these things being a reality at some point, at least to the next phase. You're by nature an optimist, and you like to see everything as a glass half full. But in reality, how far along are we on the downtown plan, and what's the next step?
Subjects you talked about. Well, here's where we are on the downtown plan, specifically what Bryce Peak and Albert and his group are involved in. The parking lot in back of Bank of America is owned by a firm called Gramercy Capital. We need to acquire that somehow, lease it, whatever it may be, so that they can do that hotel, that a parking garage can be built there in conjunction with the hotel. It's the perfect location for a hotel, given the fact that there was a hotel there for 130 years until 1967 when they tore it down to put the chamber building there. So we're trying to make contact. We have made contact with Gramercy, and it's just a matter of making it a top priority on their list. Which
you did that when you were a councilman.
Well, I did that, but I mean it's changed hands. Gramercy, all those properties were sold. Gramercy got them back. It went into foreclosure, and it's just been an ongoing process. Gramercy has thousands and thousands of properties, so that's our top priority. It's not their top priority, so you have to just keep shaking the tree and getting them to respond to you. So we're still working on that, but that's crucial. The other thing, the City Auditorium doing the symphony. You've got a lot of great people involved in that. Bill Nassel, Chester Weber, Kevin Donahue, Alan Misakana, a variety of different people that are going to make that happen. That will be a reality. There's no question about that. The rest of Tuscaloosa, we did the plans with the architects to come out and see what everyone could contribute and design what they thought would be a great design. And then we took pieces of each one of them, put them together, and did all that. Look fantastic. Now it's the actual implementation of it. I don't know how much it would cost, but one of the things that we're doing, and this may be part of it. We keep talking about the Yankees and such. One of the things we're going to come back eventually to the citizens, and this will be coming in the not too distant future, and I don't have any problem talking about it, is there will probably be discussed a sales tax referendum that we will ask the county commission to put on the ballot so that the citizens can vote for it. Yay or nay. I mean,
that will be the Yankees and maybe the horse park and maybe Silver Springs or what?
We haven't decided what's going to be on there. The stadium will be on there, and then what else is going to be on there? We don't know. You have to look at how much will that raise, how long would you want to do it, 3-5 years, and go at it like that. But I mean, my viewpoint is it's the citizens, it's the people's money. All we're asking, or going to be asking the county commission to do is put it on the ballot and let the people decide what they want to do with their own money. Yep. I mean, it's a novel idea, yep. But it's their choice, it's their money. Yep. Not only their money, but it's people that are driving through here that are from out of town are going to pay the sales tax, and we get to keep it. So, and we'll have to split it with the county and figure out how much of it we get, but it can be done. I mean, that's how progressive, proactive communities get things done. We all come together, we see a need, we move forward, and we do it. And it can be done.
All right. Now, we talked about this some Friday. I know you're not directly involved in this, but as spokesman for the city of Ocala, you are involved in everything, and that we put a lot of credibility in the future of the power plant and what's happening down there,
right?
And where it's going now. We've had a change. Kevin Reed now has declined to take as the paper said, as the Ocala.com said, to take the offer they gave him to their position. I spoke with some people regarding who were involved in this project. They assured me that they will not drop off in the quality or in their endeavor to bring new businesses. I'm a little concerned till I see it. Your thoughts about the power plant and where its future is?
Well, I mean, the power plant, we opened it, a year plus ago?
A little year ago.
Doing great. You've got some great firms in there, DS Media Labs, Ocus, a few other great firms. It's doing real well. I'm not involved as far as the leadership of that firm. I'm not involved with the CEP. I don't even sit on the CEP board. So I kind of see it from afar. I told Miss Carr from the Star Banner, she called me yesterday, wanted me to make some comments about it. I'll tell you the same thing I told her. I don't really have any knowledge about it other than what I've read in the paper. I know that Kevin's done a good job. Things are moving forward. You would have to ask Mr. Cohn or Mr. Shealy, what transpired.
Fair enough.
I don't really.
Yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
I don't want to say something.
No, I
not
get that.
Have any knowledge?
I'm really talking to you about more from your standpoint from afar in terms of not in the running of it, but
right.
You are a spokesman for Ocala, and whether the bloom has come off the rose. Are you concerned about that? Or okay, you're good with that.
Yeah, I
need to ask that to Kevin Shealy. I'm going to invite on the program here, hopefully next week, and we'll get some answers. He's always been straight up about answering questions. And Mr. Cohn, if Doug is out there, we've had him before. We'll find out what that's all about. So I had a guy to me today walk up, a guy a long time Ocala, Marion County citizen that says, "I want you to do an investigation of the power plant." I said, well, A, I don't have the resources to do an investigation. B, I'm not sure what I'm investigating.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm only kidding, but I'm not kidding,
Right.
And so people want to know what happened. What's the deal? Well, how's it working? So I think it'd be a good time to...
You might ask Kevin Reed.
Well, I will do that. I think
he might know.
And he's been transparent about it, and I'm sure he will be when we get him on.
Sure.
He's good about coming on the show. So we'll just get that out real quick. Open arms. We got about a minute. The village.
Moving forward with that, I can't say enough good things about Carla Grimsley, Steve Earhart, Catholic Charities, Brothers Keepers. Just a variety of different people that sit on that board that have done such a great job. The community's come forward. They've offered every type of assistance you could think of, from building buildings to a variety of different buildings. The school boards offered us portables. Another company's office offered us their sales office from their development, and just on and on and on. So, again, when the community sees a need, they come together and they get it done. So I can't say enough good things about the good people of Ocala. So it's been great.
All right, Mary Kent, come on, appreciate that. Take this with you to the chief, and when you talk to him next, we won't have him on for another week.
Okay.
I asked the cops, but I got this story about the fact that the yellow lights have been shortened all over the state in terms of time. They're below the federal minimum, and as a result, communities have raised $100 million in fines. I'm a little concerned about that red light traffic, the camera, and the fact that these shorter yellow lights are now become a source of revenue. And I say, in answer to the question about who's going to pay for the new traffic lights, which is a story in today's Star Banner, I say that's a good place to start. When you get making $100 million on something, let it go back in the revenue fund for buying some traffic lights. That's my thoughts about it, Barry.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Barry Kent-Gwynn. It's always accessible. Appreciate it. We'll take a time out, come back and wrap up this hour right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none. We have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Hey, Larry, nice haircut.
Oh, thanks, Robin. Looks like you had something different done, too.
Yes, I did. Thanks for noticing. I went to Lupe at Merle Norman on the Boulevard for a fresh cut, some summer highlights, and a facial.
No kidding. That's who I go to. I didn't know she did all that.
She does coloring, waxing, styling, updos, microderms, and she does it all for prices that won't break the bank.
Sounds like you can take the whole family there.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Hi, this is Lupe. Let me be your personal stylist. To set up your appointment, call me today, 426-1229.
You know what a photobomb is, right? It's when you take a photo of someone and someone else suddenly thrusts themselves into the photo. It's supposed to be funny and ruin the picture, but sometimes it actually makes a better photo, a better end result. Well, that's what happened to me at Kenny's Place Nursery. Well, sort of. I was looking at some flowers when these caladiums caught my eye. It was like being photobombed by a plant. Well, it worked. The caladiums from Kenny's Place Nursery now sit beautifully in my garden with my floral plants. And if the wind is blowing just right, you might find yourself taking a photo of a rose and get photobombed by one of those caladiums. Kenny's Place has caladiums in a variety of colors, and the 1 gallon size is only $3.50. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
He's a detective down in Texas. You know he knows just exactly what the...
All right, catching back up on a couple of stories we just talked about, just for clarification. One of them is this red light camera, which we talked about. I read the story earlier about the fact that 70 communities in Florida raised $100 million in revenues from violations, citations at red lights. And in the process, the DOT quietly in 2011 lowered the time of the yellow light, took time off the clock so it's a shorter yellow, and consequently there were a lot more violations. I made a comment about the chief of police. I want to make sure I clarify this. We talked about it on Ask the Cops, and he said he was known as a red light, as camera guy, but that was in Iowa, not in Ocala. And, of course, he said his job was to do whatever the council said. And I asked Mayor Gwynn off the air, since he was a councilman at the time, about it. He said, we voted not to do it. I voted against it because I feel like if you're going to do this and say it's for safety, make it for safety, but don't pretend like it's for safety and put it up there as a revenue source. And I agree with that 100%. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but if you're going to do it, just be honest about it. Put it up there. So it remains to be seen how many lives it's saved, if any. But it seems to me shortening the yellow light would have made it worse. My thoughts on that. Also, more second hour, we're going to talk a little more about the whole problem in Washington, what's going on with the IRS. The Obama group is in hot water on several fronts. As I said in the first hour, if you look at it on the face value, just the initial accusations, if true, regarding the things that the IRS did and other things that went down there with the Obama campaign people, it's worse than how Watergate started. And you know how that turned out. So that's my thoughts about that. Finally, I talked about this guy's name is Cliff Kluge, or Klug from Ringgold, Georgia. Tom, where's Ringgold, Georgia?
It's right at the Georgia-Tennessee line. You go leave Ringgold and Lafayette area and go right into Chattanooga.
All right, he's a self-described treasure hunter. He says he and his wife recently picked a box of letters up at an estate sale, and there was a Coca-Cola recipe dated in 1943. To my thinking, it started a lot sooner than that, didn't it?
Started in the 1890s.
Yeah, so I'm thinking 1943, that's like, that's no big secret. Anyway, he says he's got this letter and a formula and the process of how to make it. So I guess he's trying to sell this, and it's been posted. There have been a lot of people posting as a secret recipe of Coca-Cola. You got one?
I got a secret recipe to New Coke.
What you got is
I got the new Coca-Cola.
No, what you got is moonshine.
Believe me, I got a pretty good recipe for that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Stay tuned. More coming up that way. Talk about that, as well as what do you think about the red light situation, red light cameras. We'll open up telephone lines, 622-9622, WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, if you'd like to get in next hour. This hour coming up, just dial us up. We've got to talk to you. Lots more news to come your way right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make...
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase process fixed rate allowance.
Mayday! Mayday! Our buyer blew it. He ordered 38 cars instead of 8. And now we have got way too much inventory.
Hey, this is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. I've got to sell these 30 cars extra fast. I'm going spastic, so I've got to do something drastic.
Qualified buyers with $5 down can drive a nicer, newer car today. Who knew $5 could get you a nicer, newer car?
Well, it can, because I'm in a jam.
Is bad credit causing you distress? My For the People credit approval process just may save the day. Get approved for a nicer, newer car you'll love. Mayday! Mayday! Get down to Prestige Auto Sales right away. The Mayday Madness ends after we've cleared 37 cars.
My name is Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of Kinetic Motion Fitness here in Ocala, Florida. A lot of you have experienced our great classes in personal small group training, but did you know we now offer dynamic workouts on DVD? These high-quality, locally produced, effective DVD workouts can go where you go. Going on vacation? No problem. We can go with you. Friends and relatives out of town who are jealous that you get to come to KMF? No problem. We ship anywhere in the United States for free. Our great lineup of 4 DVDs includes Kinetic Achieve, Kinetic Couples, Kinetic Core, and Kinetic Campus. 4 great workouts for the entire family on DVD. Sound interesting? Check them out on our website at kmfocala.com. While you're there, check out our class schedule and come see us. We're only 5 minutes from downtown across from the Skylark Plaza. Visit kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. KMF will get you results at our studio or at home with one of our DVDs. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are. Visit kmfocala.com for more information.
If you need a sign or a banner for your yard or your business or your campaign, I'd recommend you go to Signs Unlimited at 318 South Magnolia in Ocala. Screen printing, embroidery, digital graphics. Do what I did when we needed signs for the Save the Marion Theater Group. Go see Vic Buttermore at Signs Unlimited if you want quality work with a fast turnaround from somebody who is deeply committed to his community and always ready to assist you. There's a reason Vic's slogan is, it's our business to make your business better. Sign up for Signs Unlimited. Call 732-7341 today.
You know what a photobomb is, right? It's when you take a photo of someone and someone else suddenly thrusts themselves into the photo. It's supposed to be funny and ruin the picture, but sometimes it actually makes a better photo, a better end result. Well, that's what happened to me at Kenny's Place Nursery. Well, sort of. I was looking at some flowers when these caladiums caught my eye. It was like being photobombed by a plant. Well, it worked. The caladiums from Kenny's Place Nursery now sit beautifully in my garden with my floral plants. And if the wind is blowing just right, you might find yourself taking a photo of a rose and get photobombed by one of those caladiums. Kenny's Place has caladiums in a variety of colors, and the 1 gallon size is only $3.50. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. License and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, loss proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Russ with Climate Control Mechanical Services, and I want to invite you to tune in every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to listen for tips and answers to the many questions you may have about your air conditioning and heating for your home or business. The Climate Control Show, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on WOCA, 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Wait. A New York City judge has thrown out a murder case against a man who was accused decades later in an infamous 1979 child disappearance. Pedro Hernandez was charged last year with killing 6-year-old Aton Pates. Hernandez's attorneys say he's mentally ill. Pates was the first missing child whose picture appeared on milk cartons. Did you buy your Powerball tickets yet? Tonight's drawing is worth $360 million. It's the third biggest prize in the multi-state game. Sorry, hipsters, we are so over you. Survey conducted by Public Policy Polling found just 16% of Americans view hipsters favorably. More than a quarter of voters found hipsters so annoying that they believe they should be forced to pay an extra tax. This is ABC News.
Hi, Tom Bodette. It's never been easier to book a clean, comfortable room at Motel 6. You can book online at Motel6.com, use our cool new app on your tablet or smartphone, or call 1-800-4-MOTEL-6 on your dumb phone. Sadly, you can't book by pigeon or Morse code, so if you want the lowest price of any national chain by telegraph, I guess you're just ... I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
At Grainger, we understand running a facility means wearing a lot of hats. One minute you're replacing a condenser fan motor, the next you're swapping out fluorescent bulbs. That's why we offer over 900,000 products in 31 product categories. Many ready right when you need them, from HVAC equipment to safety supplies. Whatever you need, even if it's a new hat. Yeah, we've got those too. To help keep your business running efficiently, call, click Grainger.com, or stop by a branch today. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah!
You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
And like the man said, second hour program on a Wednesday. We're going to kind of run over the news today and check on some stories and kind of delve into a couple of them. Disturbing news out of Washington this week, and it just keeps getting worse. All the activities that apparently have taken place under the Obama regime. And those of you who know me and listen to this program know I'm a political moderate. I'm in the middle. I don't, if I could vote independent, I would. I like some things about each party. I don't like some things about each party. Mostly, I'm not wild about parties. I think you should be able to decide for yourself.
I like parties. Keg parties.
Different kind of
birthday
party.
parties.
Sure you do. So the whole issue with what's happened, I asked this question first hour, and fair is fair. You know, things are going so bad so far for the Obama administration with all the news about the IRS, the Russian spy, the tapping of phones, the violation of First Amendment rights, basically, and the fact that the AP's phone logs were tampered with. All kinds of things going on. There's criminality charges being made by the Republicans. And understand, they're going to have a field day. And if you measure it versus what the first early Watergate stuff was, and I was around then, it started out with a third-rate burglary. You've all seen the movie, All the President's Men. You've seen the stories and specials about it. And because that wasn't the issue. The issue was, of course, that the president lied. And, of course, he ended up committing a felony and was impeached. Surely this will result from what has happened. I don't believe Obama will get impeached, but there is no question as we speak right now. There are people sitting in the back room who already wanted him impeached, now saying, we have what we needed. We have all of our suspicions were confirmed. He is anti-conservatism. He does have an agenda against the NRA. And by the way, the studies, the latest information shows that apparently there were certain senators who were targeted about their support of the IRA. Now, apparently this group, Credo Action, I have no idea what it is, they launched a new attack today targeting senators who voted against legislation to expand background checks. They're trying. Meanwhile, what's happening on the other side? You know that if there were investigations going on, if there were people doing covert actions, if there were people trying to block the Tea Party from being accredited during the time, and the IRS was giving nonprofit status to all kinds of liberal organizations, you know we're going to wind up, before it's over, to finding out some of the skullduggery and covert actions, something to do with the fact that the gun control issue is going to come up. It's going to raise its ugly head at some point by some of the things that took place, because we know Obama is very much against the way guns are treated in this country, and he's clashed with the NRA, so it's going to come out. Meanwhile, Credo is also targeting some Democratic senators and saying they're going to launch their attack on them. So we're getting into a nasty period. It's going to be a lot of name-calling, finger-pointing, but really right now, the hot seat is in the president's office in the Oval Office.
And isn't that where Harry Truman famously made the buck stop?
Buck stops here.
It's his administration. Isn't he ultimately the person to
of course
be held
he
accountable?
He's got to come forward and explain, even though he may not know the full story in some of these situations. He's still accountable for them. And we even brought up the whole thing with a Russian spy. This is obviously happens all the time. But now Russia's saying they expelled another guy in January. This is not the first. So what are we doing in Russia? Last time I checked, the Cold War was supposed to be over. Obviously, we have diplomats, quote unquote, in Russia, but now we've had 2 Russian spies.
Wigs.
Yeah.
I love the pictures of their little spy kit that they sent out.
Yeah,
a couple wigs, some cash.
A lot
it
of
was
cash.
Jason Bourne.
Yeah, exactly.
It was exactly like the
what
Bourne
it was.
movie.
Right. Get your instant spy kit,
And I guess when you're a spy nowadays in Russia, you're way less scared because all they did was just send him to the U.S. Embassy. And he's just, the pictures he's sitting there like, nothing happened. Like he was in detention in high school or something. Imagine during the Cold War if you're an American spy getting caught in Russia. Not something you want to do.
Yeah, and the thing about it is what does a spy do? What's his job exactly?
I don't know.
I mean, he can't tap phones in Russia, I don't believe. He obviously hangs out in dark places with talks to people and gathers data, and puts on a spy wig and walks around.
Yeah.
And I don't know what a spy does, but why do we need all the information? Now, here's the worst part. I'll do this after break. We've even got Vladimir Putin coming back and saying some things about how stupid we are as spies. When Vladimir Putin could call you names, you're in trouble, And so anyway, the whole issue right now, the question you have to ask is either Obama knew about this or he was not engaged enough to know about it, and which is worse? Either you knew about it and supported it, or you didn't know about it, and the one's as bad as the other.
They're both
if you
fairly
lost
bad.
control of your White House, is this what's happened? Now, I know I'm being premature in some regards, but trust me, I've been down this road. I know what's going to happen. We're going to see this on every talk show for the next 6 months because they're beating the drums toward the election. The Republicans finally got something to hang their hats on, and they well should, because that's why we have a 2-party system. I watched Fox News this morning. Just because I don't normally watch Fox News, I want to get their take on things. And, of course, they're different because their morning show hosts actually make political commentaries. They
don't care.
And if you watch ABC, CBS, CNN, any of the others, the people who read the news don't give commentaries. But I watched them just to get a take on it. And I got a kick out of some of the guys who made comments. Well, Obama, you know what he did? It was like a smile, eyes twinkling. Like, we got this guy. We got him this time. You know what? They may have him this time.
I just wish it was before last November.
Well, they do, yeah. But nonetheless, that's what's happening. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about what's O.J. doing exactly. Why is he out? Why is he in court? What's the deal on that? And we'll talk more about a portrait of B author worth millions. Are you kidding me? That's coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned. 1370 AM.
96.3 FM. WOCA, by the way, I think that B. Arthur thing's got to be made up.
Never know.
Source.
You never know.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin for WinStar Medical Research. Every day we hear another story about innovation or about the cutting edge of technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. But did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that will impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name WinStar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize WinStar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at WinStar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people are right now. WinStar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend an opportunity to you to be a part of these. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. WinStar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. WinStar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Are you looking for a trustworthy auto care company that won't sell you something you don't need? Look no further than Affordable Auto Air and Care. Affordable Auto Air and Care has serviced Ocala for a decade and is family owned and operated. They offer quality parts at affordable prices, and they even include a 1-year or 12,000-mile warranty on their parts and labor. Their certified technicians work on any type of vehicle, even RVs. They specialize in auto AC, but they also offer oil changes, brake service, filters, tune-ups, shocks, axles, complete auto repair. Affordable Auto Air and Care is located at 1841 Northwest 4th Avenue on the corner of Old Jacksonville Road and 441. Call 352-401-0011 to book an appointment. That's 352-401-0011. Affordable Auto Air and Care. Complete auto repair. Take it from me, Tom Schmitz. I'm a customer. The AP is reporting that 2 explosions at the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
There's 3 people confirmed dead at Boston Marathon.
Multiple people injured.
Explosion at the Boston Marathon.
Report of another possible device at the Mandarin.
Our 6 reported injured, no death. Workers felt the blast all the way over from Newburyport Street.
The voice of Ocala, your eyes and ears when it really counts.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
In the battle of the leafy greens, kale comes out on top. Gram for gram, kale has more vitamin C and A and K. Plus, kale has 3 times more lutein than spinach, which helps protect your retinas. 61% of human resource managers said a tattoo would seriously hurt a job applicant's chances. Do you have distilled white vinegar in your home? Doctors say this is a great natural bug bite remedy because it neutralizes the venom.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
You know what a photobomb is, right? It's when you take a photo of someone and someone else suddenly thrusts themselves into the photo. It's supposed to be funny and ruin the picture, but sometimes it actually makes a better photo, a better end result. Well, that's what happened to me at Kenny's Place Nursery. Well, sort of. I was looking at some flowers when these caladiums caught my eye. It was like being photobombed by a plant. Well, it worked. The caladiums from Kenny's Place Nursery now sit beautifully in my garden with my floral plants. And if the wind is blowing just right, you might find yourself taking a photo of a rose and get photobombed by one of those caladiums. Kenny's Place has caladiums in a variety of colors, and the 1-gallon size is only $3.50. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA News Studio with this news break brought to you by Country Club of Ocala. Guns, ammunition, electronics, and other items were reported stolen from Southwest Ocala homes over the past few days. One woman told a sheriff's deputy she arrived at a residence, found a sliding glass door open, and the residence burglarized. Deputies also have been advised that a home not far from the woman's residence had been burglarized 3 days earlier. Also at a nearby location, officials received a report that another home had been broken into within the last week. This news break was brought to you by the Country Club of Ocala. If you would like to schedule a special event at one of Ocala's premier facilities, call 237-6644 today.
Rebel souls, deserters we are called, chose a gun and threw away the sun.
Welcome back to the program on a Wednesday. Getting a little hot out there. And I just read, I don't know, the allergies seem to be bad for me this year for some reason or another. Had a bunch of them, especially in the morning. Just reading up on it, the fact that apparently the warm weather makes them worse, you know, and especially the grass and stuff. Somewhere or another, about 5 o'clock in the morning or so, I'll start sniffling and, have to get up and sneeze and blow my nose and stuff like that. I never have been an allergy guy. That's the funny part about it. So I'm kind of researching that just a little bit and to find out what's going on there because allergies are no fun. I think the older you get, the more allergies you get. I believe that's true, but I can't prove it. Meanwhile, you got a bizarre story, and I got a bizarre story. Which one do you want to go with first?
Well, is yours in Florida or Ohio?
I haven't checked, but apparently either one. B. Arthur. Most of you remember B. Arthur. She was on Golden Girls. She was on one before that. Who was she on? Come on.
Maude.
Maude. And, she was a pretty big star, always a slightly aging woman who never played a role of a sex symbol for sure. Apparently somebody thinks she's pretty sexy, and because there was a nude portrait painted of her, and it's called Be Author Naked, and I'm thinking, okay, so what's the deal on that? Yeah, what's that about? And Tom said, it must be a joke. Well, I just pulled it up, and in fact, it is a picture of her naked from the waist up, painted in 1991. And apparently, it's very valuable. It's a topless portrait expected to sell, you ready? Between $1.8 and $2.5 million at Christie's post-war and contemporary art sale. Are you kidding me? Be Author? Must be. Someone finds her quite curvaceous, but I can think of some people who might pay, J-Lo or something like that, perhaps money to get a portrait of her, but not Be Author. That surprises me a great deal.
Be Arthur.
1991.
1991, yeah.
1991 worked.
A little before your time, JJ, but...
that was her in 1991?
Well, I guess.
Well, it was painted in 1991.
Painted in 91. You got to
by
assume
John Corinne.
Right.
Called
Be Author Naked. Exactly. That's what I said. Be Author Naked.
So he just painted a naked body with Be Arthur's head on it.
Do you think? Yeah. How would we know?
It doesn't even look like
it looks
anything special at all.
It's just her face.
I don't really get art.
Her face and her upper body.
I don't really get art.
You don't get art, huh?
No.
So you think that's weirder than my story?
Do you think
that's pretty weird?
That's so much money
for
that.
Yeah, exactly. Even I.
It does not make any sense to me.
Somebody must have loved Be Author.
Well, how about this story out of Zaleski, Ohio?
That's going to be weirder. JJ with the judge. Which one's weirder, JJ?
A small community south of Columbus. A 91-year-old man who built his house himself 56 years ago. He's a retired contractor.